Well, good afternoon. Thanks for coming in. We're on a roll here today. Let's keep on rolling. The pickup line, Tyler's down there having a quick break. There's the 462 that we fixed the other day that wouldn't run correctly, water in the fuel. This 201 I fixed this morning. You may or may not have seen this video yet. Hedge clipper that was just here for a pull start. You may have seen that video. This 201 is next up. I've had something else come in today. You've seen all these. Oh, there it is. Another 462 that doesn't run correctly. I hope this one doesn't have water in the fuel too. We're going to find out. 201 that won't start. Get on my workbench. Good afternoon. Welcome back to my workbench. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Welcome back to the channel. So today on the bench, we have this Stihl MS201 rear handle. This saw is owned by a local utilities company, and they dropped it off because they said it won't start. They say it was running, and then it wasn't running, and it probably just needs a spark plug. So I have a new crystal ball. A viewer named Keith sent this to us. Thank you, Keith. Let's ask the crystal ball what it thinks. Oh, crystal ball, will a spark plug fix this chainsaw? It says, read the owner's manual. I don't have the owner's manual. I guess we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Come along, let's jump into it. Just some quick observations. The saw is filthy. The recoil fins are packed. They probably run an environmentally friendly bar oil in this saw, which is messier than normal bar oil. That's an AV spring there. It's all twisted out of shape. Probably replace that while it's on the table. That's just a dirty, well-used chainsaw right there. Chain brake works. Okay, so they say this thing won't start. And this saw is MTronic, so we can plug this in the computer and pull some data off of it. That's always fun. There could be some interesting stuff there. Well, I say before we do too much here, let's plug it in and pull the data off of it. I'm going to go ahead and pull the clutch cover off, the bar and chain off of it. I got to get to the spark plug, and the spark plug is behind there. These 201s have a captive bar nut, so the bar nut stays right with the clutch cover. Probably don't need that stick in there, do we? So there's our spark plug. There's the summer-winter shutter. This one is turned on to summer. If you watch the video on the 201 that I fixed just before this one, they're running that one on the winter. They probably don't. Some of them probably know that's there. Some of them probably don't know. Probably most of them don't care. The spark arrestor is in this saw. The last 201 we did, this was all burnt. This one, you notice it's not burnt because the spark arrestor is still in there, and that means the exhaust is coming out where it's supposed to come out. All right, let's pull that spark plug wire off and get this thing plugged into life support. And I got to pry that little cover off. My computer hookup is behind there. Let's see what the computer says about this chainsaw. So total operating hours, 71 hours, 55 minutes, and 15 seconds. Total successful starts, 2,125 starts. This service, or this saw, it's showing is never plugged in. And there is no running issues detected. I'll take this thing off life support now. Well, let's get started. We'll go in the same pattern that we do every time. We'll make no assumptions about anything. Let's start by looking at the fuel in this. We'll make sure there's bar oil in it, and then we will step outside with it. We're starting with a clean container. It's right full of fuel. The last one was right full of fuel as well. Maybe it wouldn't start, so they filled it up, thinking that that would make it start. The fuel looks good and smells good. There is a bit of dirt in the bottom. That's not uncommon. Looks like a piece of skin in the bottom as well. That's weird. Look in the fuel tank here. Looks pretty good. Little tiny bit of dirt in the bottom. Just trying to get all the dirt out of that tank. Yeah, that looks much better. There's a fuel filter. It's probably the original one. I think it was orange at one time and it's just faded. So we're going to leave that for now. Take this thing out, see if we can get it to start. I need to get a fuel strainer. If I pour this just right and slow enough, the dirt and chunks will stay in the container. So there's the gunky stuff and that whatever those chunks are. Yep, full of bar oil. Let's step outside the door with it and see if we can get a fire for us. I'll see you out there. Oh, here's our weekly Stihl order. What kind of goodies did Tyler order? Air filters, 2-in-1s, carb kits, fuel solenoid kits. Oh, a whole bunch of 038 parts. Have a feeling that these parts are going to get harder to get, so it looks like he placed us a bulk order of just some plastics and handles. Neat. And what did we get for saws? A couple 250Cs, some MS162s, which replaced the MS170. That would be a box of just carry cases, the plastic cases. And there's a couple 291s. All right. Good job, Tyler. There's the Stihl inspector, hard at work. Well, there you have it. This thing fired up for us. It shouldn't take 9 pulls to start it, but it did fire. It runs pretty good, and then it restarted for me every time. It is the next morning here. I was gonna tape this last night. I went outside and the cats were playing, and I got carried away watching them, and then my phone went dead, so I called it a night, and here I am this morning. So I guess let's just have a little closer look at this. Pull this top cover off. We'll check out the air filter. We'll pull the spark plug out and just see what we're dealing with here. And that is a filthy, dirty air filter. So if the air filter looks like that, I wonder what the spark plug looks like. The spark plug didn't really feel that tight. In the last 201 I did, the spark plug wasn't tight in it and the gasket wasn't crushed. This is a Bosch plug. The last 201 I did had an NGK in it. If I grab my camera, I wonder if we can get a look down in there. It's a little more difficult with these, but I'll give it a try. Let me grab it. so let's put a new spark plug in it. We're going to give them just a mini service. New spark plug, new air filter, new fuel filter. So we've got an NGK CMR 6H, gapped properly. We'll put a new air filter in this saw. There's the old one. There's the new one. I don't even know how this saw started with that in it. Before I forget, I should put my little plug back in. There was the air filter part number. That AV spring is all janked up. We're going to replace that. Got a new spring in stock here. The part number for that spring. It's a T27. Take that out. It's pretty common to replace this spring on these saws. Just unscrew it off that handle. That looks better, doesn't it? Just gonna blow that area out. Okay, new spring, and then we'll put our hardware back in, fasten it down. I'm gonna replace the fuel filter as well. Actually, I'm gonna replace the fuel and the fuel filter. I know we already had this out, but I wanted to run it with their fuel in it. The tank looks nice and clean inside. Pull that filter back out and give them a new one. Clean tank, new fuel filter, fresh fuel. Now this is a mess. This environmentally friendly bar oil, it may be good for the environment, but it's not good for the chainsaw. We better pull that recoil off. I'll take this apart and then we'll take this outside and clean all of this up. There's a lot of stuff stuck in there. It's not ideal. Okay, so I'll take these out and I'll take the saw with me and just give it a quick little blowout. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back from a tiny little quick and dirty spa treatment. That environmentally friendly bar oil is like glue. My degreaser will barely take it off. I mean, I could sit and try to detail this, but this saw isn't here for a restoration. It's here because it won't start. It needs obviously some basic maintenance, and it needs to get back out to work today. So I have cleaned the bulk of the dirt off, but this stuff is pretty nasty. So we'll start putting this back together. Uh-oh, look at that. You know, always pull the rope out when you're servicing it. They wouldn't like that to break on them, would they? I just burnt the end of that a little bit to make it easier to shove through the holes. Yeah, we'll tie a knot in this. I call this the Stihl knot. I don't know how to explain it, but I'll just show you. Just something like that. Then we're going to tuck this down into the hole. We don't want anything sticking out, so we're going to tuck that nub down in. This wasn't supposed to turn into a pull start repair video, but that's okay. Now I'm just going to push that down in there with something. Okay, so there's nothing sticking out. It's a bit busy out front today. So I could almost put, I'm going to put one more wind in it. Or I could just start over again. You don't want it hanging. If it's hanging, you want to put one more wind in it. That looks pretty good. We got a nice fresh string in there that's not going to break on them first time out. Put this plastic piece back in. I got all the big chunks off it, but it too is smeared in that biodegradable bar oil. I blew out in there around the flywheel, blew the cylinder out. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. Okay, well, we're nearing the finish line here with this. I looked back through my footage, and while the spark plug was out, I did pull that clutch off and grease the clutch bearing, but you guys aren't going to get to see that on this video. I'll make sure you see it next time. The piston stop for these 201s, it's quite a nice little tool. It goes in and actually clips right to the fin. Let's carry on here. We're going to put the bar and chain back on, put the clutch cover back on, take it back outside, make sure it's starts, runs. I know it's oiling. And this thing is almost ready for pickup. This crew needs these two saws back today, so let's get this buttoned up. Nope, I forgot something. I wanted to pull that spark arrestor out and have a look at it while I had that off, so let's take it back apart again. Everybody forgets things, including me. That's okay. What matters is that I remembered it. It'll only take me a minute. So that thing is partially plugged. So we'll clean this back up. Clean it up and put it back in. There you go, nice and clean. Well, what do you think? Ready to go outside with it? Think it'll start good for us? I did replace that fuel filter, so there could be a little air bubble in the fuel line, but I think this thing's gonna run fantastic. Let's step outside and see. I'll meet you out there. Super easy to start. Runs excellent. Well, this little Stihl MS201 is a beautiful little saw to start. Runs excellent. It's oiling. These things are so light and so zippy. Pretty impressive, actually. It's probably why they're so expensive. So this saw came in because they said it would not start for them. So we found a few things. We found the fuel didn't look terrible, but there was quite a bit of dirt in the tank. So we flushed all that out and replaced the fuel filter and put fresh fuel in the tank. We have replaced the spark plug, and we have replaced that totally packed and filthy air filter. So it's had a little service. There was a worn out AV spring. These are common on these saws. We put a new one in it while it was here. and we pulled the pull cord out to have a look while we were cleaning it and found that it was just about to snap. So we repaired that while we had it here. Spark arrestor was not plugged, but partially plugged. Cleaned that up. Gave the saw a bit of a cleaning the best I could. That bar oil is something else. Very, very hard to clean. But this thing isn't here for a spa day. It's here to get up and running again because this thing is heading back out to work this afternoon. I have a whole bunch of saws waiting for me. It's time to grab a coffee, a little lunch, and get on to the next chainsaw. If you enjoy my channel, if you find any value in my content, or maybe you just find it entertaining, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. It helps me and it helps the channel. If you have already subscribed, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. On we go to the next. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.